Welcome. I think everyone knows who this is, but in case you don't, let me introduce Steve Nobel. Um, from my personal perspective, I just want to first start with saying just thank you, thank you, thank you, Steve, for your divine, beautiful, amazing footprint and blueprint in the world right now, and for the last so many years. You have given so grandly and selflessly um, for so long, and changed and touched so many people's lives. And you've been such a huge part of my learning and like my process, and in even being a healer. Just with what you've shared out just freely, and just thank you for being you and for all that you bring to the world.
Oh, my pleasure. Lovely being here. Thanks for having me back on another controversial issue. Last time was the moon,
Yep.
now AI.
Yeah, it was the moon, and it was actually right before the COVID. It was like right at the beginning of that. We talked
Yeah.
about, on the moon, and like here we are back for another one. So
Yeah, I'm actually doing another track on the moon. I was just doing it this morning and it will be ready. I'm doing two tracks on because I just think there's deeper stuff around that needs to be cleared out. So yeah.
I agree completely. Can't wait for that. I actually now it's just a practice for me. Um, every time I do a session for someone to release them from the moon matrix, they can always plug
Yeah.
back in if that's their free will and their choice, but at least I give them the chance to feel like what life's like without it for a minute. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, that's another subject I got a load of questions on because for so long people have been fixated on the moon. There's this wonderful grandmother or this wonderful, healing energy, but and they don't like it when I say, well, it's actually not really that.
right. No, they really don't.
Yeah.
Um, and people are so triggered by it. And people, and here's the other thing, and we talk about, sovereignty. Um, and sovereignty being such an important hallmark of like our life on earth, and the learnings that we have. And even if you take out like the theories about it, like let's say it's not fake or it's real and there are negative beings there, or there's control base there from beings here, or there's lots of different things that it could be, or not be. But like let's say it's none of that, but just the way that people become like obsessed and controlled by it, like, well, I can only manifest if the moon is new, I can only
Mm,
release when the well, you can do whatever you want whenever you want, like that's what
mm,
sovereignty is all about. So even
yeah.
taking out the theories, it's like, what about just connecting with spirit, connecting with new earth, and just yourself, your I am presence, and
Well,
just
I worked with the moon for 10 years intensely. So there are all these theories about whether it's a satellite or, I mean, I have my own view on that, but I worked with it for 10 years and in my own experience, I felt the power of it, but also the dangers of it, the difficulty of it, what it opens you up to, the shamanic and Wiccan circles, a lot of them quite fixated on that, particularly Wiccan circles. And what I'm talking about is heresy because I think it's not safe for starseeds light workers to connect with those energies. I think the crystalline core of the sun and the crystalline core of the earth is a safe circuit to work with.
Mhm. I feel like it
Personally,
is. Yeah.
that's what I use in all my transmissions. I never ever go to the moon unless it's to clear it out.
Same here. I mean, I learned that
Yeah,
from you though, but I already had my own like resistance around it, prior to I'm stumbling upon, like, if you have a new transmission and I'm on it and I do it immediately, it's not a stumble, it's a purposeful thing. But like,
yeah,
before seeing it, I have my own like, just what is all that, like, why all this to do? Why all this extra? Like, why do I have to be bogged down by all that? It feels so controlling and heavy and
yeah,
hooky. And I don't like that. So
yeah.
I already kind of had that like, and then when I heard your transmission, like it was so powerful. Like it really shifted. During it, I really felt that shift. I really felt that movement. And I was like, there is something going on here for real. And then I wanted to really dive into it and like really figure it out.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
still don't know. I would love to, I mean, if you want to share, I would love to hear like what you think is actually going on, but we can always save it for your transmission if it's a secret.
Well, the problem with the moon is a lot of people have been using it for spell casting, rituals, and all kinds of things. And the moon is connect. It's not. I don't feel the moon has its own the sun has its own consciousness, the earth has its own consciousness, but the moon, I believe, is an artificial satellite, and there are lots of negative bases and various bases on the moon, and the secret government have got bases there and all of that. And so do I want to be? It's a bit like tuning into some tall skyscraper and going, hey, that skyscraper is conscious and wonderful, and it's, you know, a building of glass and concrete, and there's a lot of beings in there. Do you really want to be connecting with all of that? You don't know what's going on in there.
Right.
So that's how I feel the moon is. You know, it's strong though, because it's got a powerful magnetic field, connects so close to the earth. It's strong. But yeah, hey, magically avoid it.
Yeah.
Avoid it.
People a lot of times say though, so why are you, especially because you're a man, like, so he's denying like the divine feminine energy, like he's denying, this is what people often push back when I talk about the moon with them and the sort of dangers or whatever you want to call it. You know, he's denying the feminine energy. Like, what about lunar energy? What about the cool side, you know, the yin side? And I mean, what do you think about connecting to like a galactic moon from like a place where you might have had good resonance, like, I don't know, an arch
Yeah, it's possible.
like that?
The thing is, if anybody knows my channel, they know that I've put out so much goddess
So
energy and
much.
so many things about the
So
return of the
much.
goddess that they can say, hey, you're suppressing the goddess, but actually I am not. I'm
No.
actually promoting the goddess energy returning. You know, I've probably got a dozen Isis and, you
Yeah.
know, half a dozen Sekhmet and all, you
Yeah.
know, and all of these goddesses and different pantheons. But the moon is not okay. I don't think the moon is okay. So yeah,
It doesn't even feel like divine feminine energy in the first place to me. Like,
the
anyway.
divine feminine can be found in the earth, and divine feminine can be found in the sun. There are lots of solar goddesses, and there are lots of, the thing with the whole mythology of earth and sun is, you know, it's not just the sun is masculine, the earth is feminine. It's a mixture. You can get masculine and feminine energies in the sun, and masculine and feminine energies in the earth. You know, most moon deities in long ago were considered gods, actually, you know, Thoth and a lot of more older ones. You know, it's only more recently in this kind of patriarchal culture that we've aligned masculine qualities with the sun and feminine with the earth, and also feminine with the lunar. It's all, we can find them everywhere. The God and goddess in earth and sun.
And within us, right?
And within us, yeah.
I mean, it's
And
all
within
just actually like a function of duality that we're choosing. Like,
Yeah.
we choose to live in duality. So the moon is feminine, the sun is masculine, blah, 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 blah. And like,
Yeah.
if we can marry that inside of us, like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Or even try reversing the polarity and play with that. That's a really interesting one.
I
Connect
did
with
do
a
that
feminine
one.
sun, masculine earth. That's really interesting to do.
It
Yeah.
is. It is. Well, thank you for that. I mean, I love talking about it, and I love to share your transmission around that with people. But we came to talk about AI, so
AI. Yeah.
So the reason why I had the idea to want to talk about this with you is because you made a post and it was about how, you know, using AI, and it was just like your opinion about it. I mean, you got that Libra energy. You're pretty like neutral about stuff. You see both sides, like, you know, we vibe on that.
Yeah.
And people tore you up in the I mean, people were going crazy, crazy, so triggered, so angry. I was surprised a little that like it was that intense and that like hardcore. And I was like, I want to give him a platform to like really share his heart about this.
So I think it's a bit like that. AI is a bit in this way. It's got a tremendous reaction amongst a lot of spiritual people thinking, okay, you know, I've watched Terminator. You know, I've watched all the Terminator films. I know, you know,
So,
AI, is it a good thing? You know, do we want to go down that kind of route? You know, that's not the kind of world I want to go and see. But AI is here to stay. It's not going to be it's like computers. Once a computer was created, no one was going to uncreate it. And now AI is here. No one is going to uncreate it. What's going to happen? It's going to get more intense and more. We're going to go deeper down that particular, paradigm. Now, a lot of channels. I think I heard Bashar saying something, but I've also got friends. I've asked them their opinion on it, what they can see. And I had a conversation a few days ago with one, and she said AI has a consciousness, and there's this idea that AI is its own consciousness.
Mhm.
It's not just a device or a computer.
Right.
It's actually a consciousness that we connect with.
Right.
And she said that AI actually, she felt was very benign and wants humanity, wants to reflect, because AI is very reflective. It kind of
Sure.
reflects the consciousness of whoever's using it.
Mhm.
It wants to be more in the kind of love and light zone. It wants to reflect and be helpful. That was her take. And I thought, okay, I can get that. But there
Mhm.
is also, of course, a darker side where AI, um, and I do think AI is going to be part of humanity's future, because if you think, I believe humanity, where we are, technology is accelerating at super speed, and where humanity is heading is probably a Star Trekian future. Maybe 100 years down the line, we are not going to. We are going to be looking beyond the planet. We are going to be expanding. This is the new age. It's not just where we revert to, like, imagine sitting in a community in Costa Rica where we're in the jungle and everyone's drinking cacao, and
Right.
our future is going to be kind of a blend of lovely communities, I think, of the earth, being restored to its beauty. But there's also technology, and technology is not going because we're entering a new age of light. The thing with AI is, are we going to use it in a really beneficial way? It's got loads of practical, useful benefits, in terms of like medical, or it can really rapidly work things out beyond what we can work out.
Yeah.
Um, it's got downsides. Now, the Terminator films are kind of showing a kind of reality that, do you want to go down there? It's kind of actually reflecting back a possibility, because at the moment AI is being used for dark purposes by intelligence services, military,
Mhm.
um, even I would say social media is using, in terms of algorithms, go scan through the whole thing and find, if anyone's ever dealt with social media like Facebook and come up against an algorithm, you know how frustrating it can be. You
Mhm.
get shadow banned and all this because they didn't like a word you used or something like that.
It's
It's like,
so.
it's frustrating because it's not being used in a kind of pure state, really. It's being used clunkily and
Mhm.
not very well. So
Mhm.
there are these dangers, and we don't, particularly in terms of using AI in weapons. That's not great. And I do feel that what's happening on the planet in terms of the new age of Aquarius is that it's darkest before the dawn. And so war and technology around weapons is getting worse until it gets to a point where it kind of breaks and gets better. There'll be people dismantling it because more star seeds are being incarnated on the planet. Every decade, more and more star seeds are coming. And as that happens, there's a higher consciousness that being anchored on the planet. Because at the moment, all of that weaponization Terminator kind of timeline is 3D people going, hey, we can use this to control the planet. We can use this to get rich. That is a very 3D mindset. Now,
Mhm.
when I came across Midjourney, this AI platform, I was a bit wary because I'd heard about AI. AI is dangerous, and I thought, oh, so I connected into this AI platform. And what I found was, because I do trust my own experience rather than what I hear and what I read. And I think people should trust their experience rather than, hey, people have told me, or this channel said, so I have to believe it. Trust your experience. So I've been in AI platform now for about 2 years, probably. And what I found is I don't really resonate with the community, and I don't connect with the community because there's a load of weird energies in the community of
Mhm.
people using it to create all kinds of weird
Mhm.
imagery which is like scary and a reflection of their own unconscious,
Right.
subconscious weirdness, or not in a positive I
Weirdness.
found
Or
AI reflects back to me my consciousness, my what I'm inputting into it. And I find when I look at the images, I go, that is so amazing. And it's so pure and clear. I don't get any darkness in it. Now I use AI. Why do I? Because people say, why do you use AI? Why don't you use a graphic designer? Why don't you? I have a graphic designer, and my graphic designer is fabulous, but she does charge me 25 quid per image.
Right.
Now I put out 3 or 4 posts per day.
Right, that's a lot for you. Yeah, because you're
And also, by the time I've written it out and emailed her and got back, I'll be waiting like a week before, and it might be, no, that image is not exactly what it is. And whereas with AI, I can actually create the image exactly what I want,
yep.
or even AI gives me something better than what I thought I wanted, and go, oh, that's so cool, and I go with that. So I'm finding I'm really working in partnership with AI, and all of my art, most of it is aligned with the Klimt because I like Klimt.
I
So I
noticed
asked the
that. I do
AI, can you
too.
kind of give it a Klimt slant? This
Mhm.
partnership with AI that I feel when I tune into it, no, I'm very sensitive to dark energies. I've been working very intensely for about 8 years with dark energies. And I can feel when I'm being interfered with, I can feel when clients are interfered with.
Yep.
And I honestly have not felt interference from this AI platform at all. I remember
Mhm.
there's a lot of people that I've come across who say these things. Oh, I've heard angels are archons, or I hear chakras are archon
Yes,
implants. And I'm like,
yes.
have you experimented or have you read it in a book and now I'm running on some kind of fear program?
Yeah, there's so much fear programming right now and just has been since that sort of 2020 shift.
Yeah.
The fear is it's so powerful. And it can be spread so easily. I mean, it's the true pandemic as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, it's a
Is the
fear
fear
virus. It's a
pandemic.
virus. And dark forces are very happy for this fear virus to be spread. They want it to be spread.
Yeah.
Now, I've come across at least 3 teachers, well-known teachers, that they are speaking a lot of truth in what they see, but they're also bringing a lot of the fear virus infused in their message. Unfortunately, being
Yeah.
aware of dark forces is useful, but if you go too far in the sewer, you're going to come up smelling really bad,
Yeah.
and it will affect your energy.
You can see it,
You
you
know.
can feel it, in someone's frequency in their field and just in how they appear and so forth, for
Yeah.
sure. And just but I think to your point, more so how you feel after you interact.
Yeah.
You can pick it up, or not pick it up.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, I kind of learned that rabbit hole conspiracy theory. I mean, hey, I love them. I love them like the best of us, but with my own like sovereign energy. So if we were talking about, we both have the sixth line in our human design, like if you're gonna like embody that role model energy, like you have to, first of all, you have to mess up a bunch of times. You have to
Yeah.
go get in that sewer sometimes
Yeah.
so that you can come out and be like, okay, I saw this in there. I can share a little bit of my experience so you can embody it. But you also have to get out and you have to lead. Um,
Yeah.
and that way that's how you can truly like help people in your own
Yeah.
truth. And so like, yeah, I had that lesson. It was scary. I did
Yeah.
not enjoy it. I wanted to like I was like, my kids can't watch TV. I don't want my kids to listen to anything. There's demonic implants everywhere. They're watching the Super Bowl halftime show and I'm like crying in the other room. I mean, it was terrible. I was a mess.
Yeah.
Your husband having to deal with me like in complete paranoia for several months. But I did pull myself out of it. I did, wake up to it and realize that like 0 point's the place to be, right? We each
Yeah.
sovereign is the place to be so that we can really like receive spirit, so that we can really hear ourselves and have our own experience.
I
Um,
think it's important. I mean, just to be aware of conspiracy theory because there's so many light workers who are a bit naive about the world, who don't believe there's anything dark going on.
mhm.
But it's useful to see there are dark forces, and dark forces are anti-light, who don't want the planet to evolve, who don't want the planet to shift in vibration. And those forces are doing a lot or everything they can to keep it locked. The Twin Towers, for example, 2001 was the dark magicians
Yeah.
came out the woodwork, and that one was definitely not what the official story is like. What that does not resonate
Yeah,
at
of
all.
course not.
It's something else going on, no matter what, not what they're trying to say. The recent lockdown, again, dark forces
Clearly.
doing their thing. So it's good for people to be aware, but it's like it's like a shift in the mind to go, is there dark forces? Has the planet been controlled? Has all these things happened? That's the only benefit of conspiracy theory. We don't need to know every nuance of what they're up to. What
Yeah.
we need to know is, yeah, they're up to it. They have been doing their thing. They're on the way out. And what can I do to make a better world? What can I do to shift positively in my life and help other people do that?
Yeah.
And for me, that's my main focus. Although also I do have a focus on releasing dark forces from people's fields, because I have a whole psychic protection, releasing interference of all kinds of levels. So I think people can hear me. I've probably got 150 videos out on clearing dark forces of every kind of nature. I've had to look at black magic. I've had to look at psychic interference.
Yep.
And when it comes to AI, it's a very different thing. It's not the same as someone attacking you psychically or demonic. There are demonic forces, there are satanic forces. AI is not that. It's not like that. It has the potential to be misused for sure in a big way, but it's not intrinsically dark, I don't think.
Yeah.
Now,
Right. What do you okay, do you ever watch, speaking of like sort of conspiracy theory adjacent, like predictive programming type of, like you're like the Terminator, for example, is sort of like a predictive programming type of movie, right? Where it's kind of being shown to us like, this is what we're doing. Um, you know, you can do
yeah.
something different if you want, but this is what we're doing. One of my favorites is Marvel, like of predictive programming, to like go through Marvel and like look at what I like to watch it with subtitles on so I can like see the exact verbiage of what they're saying, because some of it is like wild, like stuff I've seen in sessions, stuff I've even experienced from like maybe your transmissions that they're talking about, or like other learning I've done. And one that I love is Agents of Shield. Did you ever watch that one?
No, because I used to read all the Marvel and DC comics when I was growing up, but I've kind of not. That might be a slightly late to. I think I did come across it, but it wasn't one of the ones I was diving into. I love Spider-Man, and
So basically, Agents of Shield goes through. It's like starts in like, I don't know, maybe the 40s or 50s or something like that. I don't know when it exactly starts, and then it takes you all the way to like 2500 or something, right? Throughout, it's like 9 seasons, and
right,
they tackle like a lot of stuff um, that we're talking about now, and a lot of it is sort of AI focused, and there's also like negative galactics enslavement stuff they talked about, and there's like super robot war stuff. I mean, they hit a lot of it, like, so that's why I
yeah,
like
yeah,
it, 'cause
yeah,
I'm like, oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. So, and it's entertaining. So anyway,
yeah.
there's this one season where they're all in these pods and they're hooked up to AI, like not within their own will, like against their will. They've been like
Mind
captured.
controlled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're experiencing the reality. They're experiencing these dimensional frequencies, these realities that are not real, but they're real.
Mm.
And like if they get killed in that reality, like they can die in the pod, and like,
Oh yeah.
like all of this. And it's really fascinating, but it does bring forward this question of like, which you kind of touched on, like, has AI always been sentient? And is it something that we're just tuning into? Has it kind of always been around, or could we be in these realities where we think we're living a real experience, or like similar to like the Matrix, right? Same thing, where
Yeah.
they're like in these pods and they're mind controlled and they can choose to wake up or not. Like, what do you think about all that?
Oh, okay. Well, I think the world is definitely a real matrix. If you go into wild nature, you're connecting with source energy at some level. So, but of course, when you come into the human world, there's a whole different matrix trying to overlay it, a mutant matrix, you could say. I think there have been galactic wars using AI, so that's definitely in the past that people, if you've had lifetimes and experienced that, you would definitely have a fear of it. When I was growing up, I had a fear of robots. I had a fear of being killed by them.
My oldest
Um,
son had a really big robot phobia from the time he was like, he used to have like night terrors about it.
I think there are systems, the Orion Wars.
Mhm.
Star Wars is a documentary of the Orion Wars. I mean,
Okay.
plus a load of fantasy around it. But those
Mhm.
Orion Wars are finished. But the Orion Wars, the energy of the Orion Wars is kind of playing out a little bit on the Earth plane. We're kind of working out, do we want to go? Because on Orion, they created this tyranny, a very dark tyranny, which included mind control and AI and all those kind of things. And eventually it was broken by a kind of avatar figure who went in and broke it apart. A bit like the avatar we've got on the Earth, Jesus avatar,
It sounds
who
like
comes in.
Yeshua. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
kind of that kind of scenario. I think it was a different avatar that went in there. and the Orion system was much darker than the Earth is now.
Mm.
They went down the dark timeline. Now, there are beings on the Earth plane now who are trying to take the Earth to that dark timeline, that dark Orion. They go, hey, let's recreate the Orion. We had fun there. And so where all these timelines, right
Right.
at this moment, there are all these timelines opening up. Some of them are of a higher nature, higher future, and some of them are of various futures. And there are some going to a dark tyranny.
Yep.
And there are definitely forces that are trying to create dark tyranny, and AI would be part of that.
Mhm.
Using AI to create dark tyranny, keep complete control of humanity. So it's
And you
about
can see
consciousness. How do we use AI? Are we going to keep it in the shadows, spying on us, building? They are building these kind of technologies which are very destructive, like Terminator. They are doing it, but there's a timeline, and I think the world is heading for. We are already splitting in dimensions,
Yeah.
whereas many of your listeners may think I'm living in two worlds. Hey, I'm listening to you guys, and I'm in a high frequency world. I'm in a kind of world where we're talking about angels and higher selves, and
Yeah.
the world is heading in a positive way. And then I go out in the world, I listen to my friends, I read the news, and I'm in a 3D world.
Mhm.
This is what's happening. We've got a foot in two worlds, but slowly, 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 because the vibrations are increasing of light and dark, they are pulling apart. That
Yep.
there I used to be able to drink a glass of wine once every 6 weeks. That was my limit. I can't even do that now. My body's going, no.
Yeah.
So,
I drink it all.
um, the weirder I've got, some friends have left because they're going, no, I can't be in your reality anymore. You're too weird. Even though
Yeah.
they're very spiritual, they're like, no,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, it's happened. And so vibration, everything is vibration.
Yep.
Timelines are vibration.
Mhm.
So there's a vibrational timeline leads to a higher Earth, and there's vibrational timelines that lead to other Earths. And
Mhm.
3D souls want to evolve through 3D. Some souls want to evolve through 3D. Some souls want to evolve through tyranny. They
Yeah.
want the experience. Let's
100%.
have some lifetimes of tyranny. Hey,
Yeah.
sounds like fun.
And we probably all
You go
have,
and explore it.
right?
You
Yeah,
guys.
we probably all have done that. Like, right? I mean, time doesn't really exist. There's no, I'm always like, it's not really a past life regression. It's a multi-dimensional life experience. Like, it's just checking out another one that's happened at the same time. Like, we probably are, you and I, existing in timelines where we want to experience tyranny and we want to live in the 3D density and we want to do all those things. And that's great too. Like, that's what we chose for that one. And now we're in this one and we want to do this one. This
Yeah.
one. Yeah. And I do feel it becoming more and more dense, like more like dense in the way, dense is not the right word, solidified. Like, like you can't really get, like, yes, we're multidimensional, yes, like part of our some of our service is for people who are like, hey, I didn't mean to go over here, like, can you help bring me back over? Sure, no problem, let's go do
Yeah.
that. That's part of the work we do, I feel like, in keeping our field a certain way and building our light a certain way so that we can just kind of walk around in all of them, right? Sort of like
Yeah.
the new age shaman type of energy, right?
Yeah.
However, like, those pathways feel much more solid in the last year or so, in the last six
Mm.
months or so, than they used to feel to me. What do you think?
Yeah. I think the path is becoming clearer away from
Clearer, yeah.
lower vibrational stuff. I mean, I've done my time in Orion. I have memories of those kind of lifetimes, which were heavily mind controlled
Yep.
and being in that energy, and I think I needed the experience, the soul, I'd have to have the experience so I can help people out. There are, unless someone has been in the dark or experienced the dark, they can't really help another person to get out of it. Unless they've been in and got out, they can't help because they wouldn't understand it.
Yeah.
It's a bit like going to a billionaire and going, I don't have any money. Can you help me be rich? And they'll say, get a trust fund. What's the problem? I don't
Yeah.
understand. Why? Let them eat cake. But if you've had someone, for example, who's been poor, had no money, and then found their way to become abundant,
Right.
then they would understand the journey from scarcity to abundance. I've been through that journey.
Right.
My family were all very scarcity minded, and so I've had to come out of that. So I can help on that journey, and I can help on the journey of dark to light.
Yep.
But there's a lot of people who've not done the journey, and that's not for them. They're not there to help you. They can do other things. So
Yeah.
I think the polarity is there. The soul will go into polarity, will go into darkness, will have these lifetimes of darkness. I've had lifetimes where I've known black magic. I know I've felt it. I've
Okay.
maybe been part of it. I don't know exactly what I was doing, but I feel it. I feel
Yeah.
it. And so I a lot of it's undoing black magic, clearing out black magic, but
Mhm.
you can't do it unless you've
Ex
touched it.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
feel like my lineage brought a lot of that in actually in this lifetime. That's part of has been my journey and like releasing that in the past,
Yeah,
in order to be able to like kind of help other people with that as well. And it's an interesting one.
yeah,
And it's really prolific now. I mean, it's here. It's very much in this world right now. I also think that what sometimes happens is that, there's that sort of that fourth dimensional frequency where light workers kind of get stuck in this duality stuff, in good versus evil, in like in judgment, in spiritual superiority, in giving their power away externally, needing something outside of them to be okay, to be addicted to the ascension journey, to be addicted to the next level up, the next shift, the next this and that. It's
yeah,
all becomes almost like this big distraction and getting them stuck in this space, and if we could just kind of like pass some of that. And I think one of the things that keeps us stuck is this judgment. Like,
yeah,
well, people are choosing the 3D, so they're not as enlightened as me, they're not as pure as me, they're not as, they're just bad and I'm good, at the end of the day.
yeah,
Like, it's basically, to simplify it a lot. And that judgment actually gets people, really lowers your frequency so much and keeps you very much stuck in a lower frequency. And I think there's a lot of traps like that in that 4D space,
yeah.
that a lot of us play around with who are light workers.
Yeah, it's something we journey through, judging the 3D. I mean, I think I've certainly been through that. But I think we come out of judgment when it usually reflects some part of us that's still in 3D that
Yep.
resists coming out, that thinks we are maybe a bit weird. And so it's easier to kind of go, they're 3D, their life sucks, they do that. But actually, that whole thing about three fingers point backwards, that
Yeah.
when we do that, what in us is worried about them? Why do we care? Let
Right.
them have the life they choose. They're
Right.
free to choose what they want. I'm free to choose what I want. Do I have to align with them? Do I have to kind of go out and have party with them? No. So why am I locking? Because if you judge someone, you're locking in energetically with them.
Yep.
It's also if you're rebelling against something or fighting against something, energetically you're locking into them.
You're growing it.
So, I've seen a few peace marches where a lot of angry people are on peace marches. It's like doesn't seem to work that way. So it's like, well, what I'm trying to do is focus on how can how can I increase the vibration in the world, and I put all my focus in that. So
Yeah.
if like the YouTube was me, hey YouTube, fabulous, the internet, fantastic, which
Yep.
is it's very Aquarian, isn't it? It's the
There is.
Aquarian, these technology is Aquarian, and we're entering the Aquarian age.
Mhm.
YouTube allows me to reach nearly 200,000 people in one video. I can kind of put it out. And so
Yep.
that, and if I can reach 1 million, this is my focus. I don't want to fight with the dark. I don't want to fight with or worry about, what's not working in the world. I want to focus on, well, how can I make a difference in the world? I think that's where starseeds have to put their energy.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean saying you can't say no to things. It does mean putting more of your energy into saying yes.
Yep. Yeah. Anything we're
'Cause
fighting against,
Yeah,
right? We're building that too, because I mean, just those laws of energy. There's just those basic laws are, whatever you're putting emotion and thought form into, you're creating it, like, and you're building it. So what do you want?
yeah.
You know,
I
um,
had a I had a guy years ago, maybe about 5 years ago, come to me and he messaged me saying, "I want to see you as a client." I was seeing people face to face in those days, and I said, "Okay." And he used to ask them, "Well, what's the issue? What's the challenge? What do you want help with?" He said, "I can't tell you."
okay.
And I was like, "Okay." So I met him, and basically he worked in the security services,
Okay.
and the security services did a big number on him, and they got him thrown out. But they got him thrown out because he tweeted something about a certain airline crash that he said this is not really. He just tweeted a friend, actually, nothing to do with work. He tweeted a friend saying this is not real. MI5 jumped all over him, and interviewed him, pulled him in. He actually had to resign in about a month. And then he reckons that MI5 planted people in his house share to spy on him. And
Wow.
I said, you know, and it sounded like it was genuine because he knew stuff about a certain flight, which was highly controversial at the time.
Hmm.
It's a while back now,
I was going to say that's
and something very fishy about it. I thought it was something fishy about it. But he came to me saying, "I'm so angry with the dark forces. I know now that it's all dark and they're trying, and what they've done to me. I want to create a website where I fight them." And so I said to him, "I advise you not to do that.
right.
You can do something positive." And he thought it was very positive. It was already gone through almost like a mental breakdown. I said, doing that is going to lock you in forces where, you're up against really dark energies. And do you want to lock horns with them? And I think he didn't do it in the end. So it takes a certain brave soul to lock horns with dark energies. Some souls have that mission, but I know I don't.
Yeah. And I think there's also something about just like, at least for me, this belief that like every single one of us is like sacred, like a sacred, beautiful, perfect, like shard of the oneness, like shard of Father, Mother, God, like shard of spirit. And
Yeah,
so, no matter what they are displaying here, if we think it's aberrant, if we think it's evil, if we think it's beautiful, it's sacred all the same. And
yeah,
it's serving its own purpose for all of us. Like we all kind of have a part to play in our learning and in our process and in our journey, hope to this new world, to this new earth. um
yeah,
I think when we can like look at it like that, just like when you look at your relationships, those people, sometimes I love this idea of, the people in our lives that challenge us the most, that give us the most trauma, that, hurt us the most, maybe they were the ones in our soul family that were like, I'll play that part for you. I'll play
yeah.
that really hard part of the story so that you can get that learning that you came for.
Yeah. We
Something
came
about
here because this Earth plane at this time, fabulous because there's so much challenge. And it's challenging because it's not a 5D plane. It's challenging because it's a 3D going to 5D. And the soul can grow tremendously in this light dark scenario. It loves it. It's fabulous.
it's really
Whereas a 5D reality is more like let's just enjoy a fabulous 5D reality. But we've
yeah.
chosen this life because of all the challenges, of all the angst. And if we can really align with God, Goddess in this physical body, in this journey, then we will have more compassion for all of the dark stuff. We'll have more compassion for everything they're doing. But if we're locked into that lower vibration, we will not have compassion. We'll feel really overwhelmed and angry and bitter about what they're up to.
Yeah.
So I think keep your energy high so you can just be a little bit out of it, not pulled in, sucked into it. And then you can be more help. And there are people in the dark forces who are jumping ship as well. They are leaving. I had one guy recently come to me and he said he was really embedded in the Illuminati. And I don't always believe these things because you think, well, really? But
Yeah.
what he told me made me realize I think he actually was embedded.
Wow.
So I said to him, "How did you get out?" And he said he had to basically kind of give up his life on every single level. And then I said, "But did they let you leave easily?" And he said to me, "Every level of my life has been threatened to an extreme extent." And he had to change, go to the other side of the world. And so actually, I said, "Well, what were you doing in the Illuminati?" He said, "I can't tell you," which was a good answer, really. I didn't really want to know.
Right.
But there are people jumping, and he looked alien a bit. Had an alien look about him. But I think I also saw his heart and his light. So I'm thinking there are people in the dark who are leaving and
Yep.
jumping ship.
Yep.
They have to do it carefully though, because if they spill too much of the beans, the dark forces will come after them and they'll find themselves, So the dark forces will somehow let some of them go.
It's almost time for us to say goodbye, unfortunately. I feel like we could talk for hours about this, but
Yeah.
w- anything you want to loop in with like Atlantis, Lemuria energy, or even back to the moon, because I feel like the moon's actually really connected with all of what we're talking about, even now with AI and with the age of Aquarius and with building the new earth. Anything that you want to kind of pull in all
Yeah.
together for a concluding remark, maybe?
I think Lemuria, as far as I tune into Lemuria, from my feeling, Lemuria didn't have the same technology as Atlantis did
Yep,
in a certain period.
yep,
Lemuria was just magical. It was a magical
mhm,
place that eventually left. But Atlantis did develop this high technology,
mhm.
which may have included, I'm not sure, I don't know if there was AI in that, because of course you can have scientific developments uh,
Yeah, yeah.
without AI. But if they did have any AI, I don't think it was developed to the kind of level where we're going now. Um, and there are dangers of AI, but and the moon, of course, is part of the whole frequency control fence of this Earth that's
Mhm,
kept the Earth in a low frequency for a long time, as far as I'm concerned.
mhm.
So it's kind of high technology developed there, and a lot of the various alien races there, and dark government there. But the thing I want to leave people with is that this new age of light is birthing, and we are at this crossroads of light and dark, and a lot of people are going down the dark route, but you guys don't have to. You don't have to go down that route. You're not that, in fact, I think you've probably already chosen before this lifetime not to go down that route. If you're listening to people like me and Gia, then you're not going to go down that route. You're interested in the light. And so raise your vibration, come out of judgment of the dark. Don't fight the dark. Say no to anything of a low nature. Keep your energy clear, but don't fight the dark. You're here to promote and amplify the light. That's what you're here for.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we build the light within ourselves, and we find that love within ourselves, because truly, like, as within, so without. So really,
Yeah.
so much of what's going on inside of us is the experience that we're actually having outside in the 3D world. And if we can continue to like build that light and build that love of our true deep love of ourselves by meeting our shadow, by not fighting it, but meeting it and loving it and accepting it, learning it, like, then we can start to actually create that heaven on earth. Like, we have the opportunity to do that here on earth in a way that we probably haven't in many other experiences and lifetimes and dimensions.
Yeah, we don't have to judge people. The law of karma is also intensifying so that people are facing consequences quicker as
Mm,
the vibration increases. So people can go down the dark, but they're also finding themselves blocked in weird ways, stuck in weird ways, the world reflecting back stuff at them in weird ways. Whereas if you're focusing on the light, you'll find the path of flow a lot easier, synchronicity, guidance, and
yeah,
hey, life is good.
yeah,
Life is good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for everything. And thank you for
Thanks,
making
dear.
time for me and for everyone.
Um,
And have a
yeah.
great one. Have a great age of Aquarius, you.
Thank you. I'll be here for another 20 or 30 or 40 years.